Perez. Wilco makes a run ahead of him. Bergkamp suddenly changed pace through the centre. It's Bergkamp! That's magnificent! The move, and then this, which left Dabby's ass totally stranded.
Hello and welcome to Bergkamp Wonderland. We are an Arsenal podcast, and yes, Danny still hasn't updated the title credits.
I was thinking that as soon as I saw them. I think we can safely update them now. There's going to be no ins or outs.
No, I think you are safe to update that as and when you wish. Good evening, sir. Are you well?
I am very well. We can see on my sofa is covered in my sperm.
That's a horrible image.
For those not watching, Sean is sat on the sofa.
I mean, even if they are watching, just the even before you notice that Sean sat there, the immediate thoughts that go through someone's head when hearing that.
Sean set up a WhatsApp group with me, her, and her mum. It's called Sperm and the Incubator.
Sperm donor.
Our sperm donor in the incubator. Anyway, that's as much fun as we're going to have tonight, isn't it?
I was going to say, I know we tried to think of things to take our mind off last night, but Jesus Christ, I mean, there's levels. Anyway, good evening to everyone who's watching, or all three of you, however many there is here. But thank you for tuning in.
There's going to be many.
No, I don't blame. Well, actually, no, there probably will be plenty because people love a crisis, don't they?
That's it. It'll be back to the days of having 1,000 people watching live.
Yeah, I know.
Like the Davis days.
I know. Look at that. Look, Caden arrived to here, covered in my own sperm. Good Lord. Anyway, we're here for about 45 minutes or so, if that. Maybe won't be that long. We don't know. But we're here to talk about, the Arsenal game last night, which ended in a 2-1 win for Lens. And as my thing in the bio says, I did warn you. So this is me saying I did warn you. Anyway, let
me get the appropriate banner.
Here it comes.
Which one was it? It's
I'm
gonna have to change this. It's not the first time, is it? It's becoming quite a regular occurrence.
I'm right all the time. People just don't like it. You know, that's their problem. That's a them problem, not a me problem.
Carry on.
Anyway, well, I mean, I take no pride in it. In fairness, and in fairness, I did say I expected us to win, but by a narrower margin. I certainly didn't expect to go over there and smash them, which somebody, I'm sure you might have said you expected that on the last podcast.
Well, we all know that if I knew anything about football, I'd be managing it. I'd be sat outside a cafe in somewhere in Milan as manager of Inter Milan, living the high life, not sat here with no pants on talking to you.
No, and again, thanks for that image. But yeah, it didn't end well. But we're here we're not going to forensically go over every detail, but we are going to cover the game to a degree. So ended in a 2-1 defeat. Let's go back to the very start then. So we saw the lineup. Was there any surprises for you? Because Tomiyasu came in. Saka did play. Of course he played. Trossard also came in. I mean, I wasn't. Raya was also in goal. I wasn't really surprised by the lineup. Were you? I didn't really take any major shocks from what I saw lining up.
Good point here from Anne. At least we're not playing at Wembley.
That was
true. So bad. I had tickets for all of them, and I didn't. As one of them, I didn't go to.
I went to two of them. This one. I was there for the Batistuta goal. Do you remember that? Where he absolutely thunder twatted it past. I think it was Seaman at the near post.
Was that Fiorentina? Were we playing Fiorentina?
Fiorentina,
or was it by then?
No, Fiorentina. And I was also there for
Kiev. Wasn't the other one?
We played. Dynamo Kiev was
2 seasons.
Yeah, because we beat them at Highbury as well, but we beat them late. I can't remember. Was it? I can't remember who scored. Ashley Cole got one against them. I don't know if that was at Wembley. But yeah, we played Dynamo Kiev. I was also there for the Barcelona game where we lost 4-2 from memory.
I think I was there for that. I think there was 6 in total, and I went to 5 of them.
Just the 2 for me. Good times. Actually, no, that's a lie, because I was there for Solna as well. Do you remember Solna, the Swedish team?
AIK Solna. No, I don't remember that at all. But there you go.
So there's the lineup. Anyway, yeah, that's the lineup. So were you surprised by anything? That's a simple question to ask you.
Well, I was taking them very lightly because they're not a very good French team at the moment, but they did finish runs up in the league last season. And we were saying before the show started that their manager has taken them from in trouble in Ligue 2 to runners up in Ligue 1 in the space of 3.5 years. And their first goal scorer, was playing in the National League, which is the third league in France, only 3 years ago, which is. And that's not too bad. I mean, there again, Ramsdale was playing in lower league, so was Ben White. But their lower league, their third tier is nowhere like our third tier. Their third tier is so amateur. It's worrying. Not worrying. It's drastic compared to ours. I mean, it's still good football, but yeah, looking at that, the most important thing here is you want goals, and so playing Jesus up front and Trossard coming back and Saka, you'd look at that and go, well, you can't go wrong. Jesus has been brilliant this season. His goal record for us last season in the Europa League, played 6 games, scored none. In his career for Man City in the Champions League, I think he played 38 games and scored 20 goals in the Champions League. And he's got 2 in 2 for us now. And Trossard been playing brilliant, and just there was something off all night. Only that spark of inspiration from Saka to set up Jesus for that goal was about the only interesting thing we did all night. Trossard, I mean, I think not Nelson had a better game than Trossard when Trossard was still on the pitch before Nelson even came on the pitch. I mean, Trossard got a rating of 6.3, Havertz got a 6.5, Nketiah got a 6. Nearly every single player on the pitch for us last night had a bad game, apart from Reiss, who got a 7.5. Were you surprised of any of them?
Any of the ratings or any of the performances?
Either.
Or
the lineup.
Well, definitely not.
Took it too easy. Thought, oh, do all right. Don't have to worry about it. Don't have to start with Benny Blanco.
No, I actually genuinely don't, and we'll come on to Saka in a bit because I know that's going to be a big talking point. I actually genuinely didn't expect Arteta to take Lens lightly, and I don't think he did. And I thought his post-match press conference was quite interesting. He was very quick to give a lot of credit to Lens, and rightly so. I think our supporters probably took them lightly, but no, I don't think it was a case of the players being complacent. I just don't think we performed very well, and these things happen. Like you just get these sort of performances sometimes. There was too many of our first team players that had off nights last night. I mean, barring the goal, Jesus didn't do a lot. As you said, Trossard was pretty poor. Probably should have done better with the chance he got right at the start of the second half. I did think Declan Rice was excellent, but everything went through him, which then raises questions of how quiet a game Odegaard had, because everything needs to go through him when we're on song. Thought the centre-backs were pretty good, aside from maybe the second goal, which we'll come on to. And the full-backs, again, I'm going to say, I have to stop banging this drum, but Tomiyasu is a centre-back. That's his best position. That's where he should be playing. And the reason that I'm not saying he's not a good right-back, he's a very good defensive right-back. But what he proved again last night is when he gets in behind and into that Ben White position, he hasn't got a cross on him. That's not his game because he's a centre-back.
And when you panic, you tend to go back to what you know best. And so he tends to drift into the
play the ball backwards.
Position.
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't want it.
Yeah, exactly. It's not his strength going forward. It's not his strength. Zinchenko's strength is going forward and certainly not defensively. And unfortunately, as we will come on to again, that cost us in the second half. But no, I didn't think overall, arguably the first goal we scored was a mistake from them, and the first goal that they scored was a mistake from us. So it was a bit of a bitty game. The atmosphere was as expected in the Bollard was fantastic. But no, I don't think we took Lens. I don't think we took them lightly. I just don't think we performed very well. I don't think we turned up anywhere near the levels that we should have done. And we touched on it briefly there, but the first goal that we got is a good finish from Gabriel Jesus, good tidy finish, and good play from Saka to rob Thomason, who ironically ended up sort of getting himself out of jail with the next moment he had. But it would be fair to say we were a bit fortuitous with that opening goal, weren't we?
Lovely little break down the right-hand side from Saka. Again, like you were saying, when he went off, it seems to be the only side we had anything, which is why everyone sticks a couple of people on him, why he gets kicked the whole time. But I honestly thought, here we go, that was easy. Bish, bash, bosh. We're going to beat them 4-5-6-0. because we were all over them. And if that was our first attack and we score a great goal like that with Saka cutting it in, and then Jesus, just shows how bad Nketiah is up front, because if that had been Nketiah there, the ball still wouldn't have landed now. He would have got it nowhere near. But it just shows the class of Jesus to be able to get that. And a first touch, that's a sign of a world-class, top quality striker. First touch from a ball in, and then ding, bottom left-hand corner. Magnificent. And I honestly thought, here we go, ding, ding. Let's run them riot. We've scored 4 against PSV, and we're going to score another 4, 5 or 6 here. But it didn't turn out that way. But Jesus, what a great player. But he had absolutely nothing coming from the left-hand side. And I don't want to go down the Havertz route, just in case John is watching, but he offered almost absolutely nothing last night, didn't he?
Or me, to be fair. Well, on the Havertz thing, so I think a lot of people, are still very, we had that sort of brief moment of everybody was happy again because he got the penalty and the song was great on Saturday, etc. The biggest problem I think that we've got with Kai is we signed the wrong player for that position because, again, Mikel knows more about football than I will ever be able to research, or indeed he's forgotten more than I will ever know. He clearly has the job for a reason, and I don't for other reasons. but I do find some of his decisions a bit baffling, and I do think one of the things that does undo him slightly is that arrogance and that flat refusal to admit something isn't working. We saw it with the right backs, we've seen it with Saka's fitness, and now I think we're seeing it with Havertz. He is going to play him until he's blue in the face in that position, until it comes good. And don't get it wrong, I think eventually it probably will come good, purely through consistent trial, if nothing else. Like eventually, if you keep hitting the nail hard enough, eventually it will go in. So I do think he will come good, but I don't think he was the right player to sign to replace Xhaka. I always said we could upgrade on Xhaka. I don't regret that. I still stand by that. But Havertz is not that type of player. And the one thing I did notice, and maybe we can pivot into it now if you want, when Smith Rowe came on, there was a renewed energy and enthusiasm in that midfield area. He wanted the ball. He took the ball.
That shot that he had was fantastic.
Yeah, and he went, either side of Samba, and he's got a good chance of scoring there. But yeah, I think Smith Rowe is cut out for that left 8 role if you can get the discipline out of him in terms of the defensive side, because we all know that he's not the best tracking back, and sometimes I think he probably needs to have a little bit, just a bit of coaching in terms of where to position himself when defending. But I think Havertz is a 10 or a free roaming wide player, coming in, because we're not going to play him at cam because that's Odegaard's position. So I don't actually blame Kai. I think he's being almost set up to fail in that role personally. But
it's a little bit like when Wenger had Lacazette and they saw Aubameyang on the market, went, I love that. Didn't need him, didn't really have room for him, and then ruined the team at times by trying to squeeze them both in. There is no room in the ideal setup for Arsenal at the moment. The current squad, there's no room for Havertz. There's no room for him, and he doesn't work. The only time that will work is if you're going to play someone up front and play him off him, like you said, in the 10. He's not good at the left 8. He's not going to play in the right 8 because Odegaard is there. You can't see a 6'4" bloke like him out wide because he's not exactly known for his pace. Where are you going to put him? And ideally, our team is going to be either Partey or Reiss in the DM, and then the other one of them playing at the left 8. Which Partey's passing ability he can play in both of those. But either Reiss or him can, and Odegaard playing in the right. He's not going to get there. And then if it wasn't Reiss or Odegaard playing in the left 8, I'd have a Smith Rowe, like you were saying. His mindset is get forward, create stuff, attack, try and score goals. And we saw, not last season, but the season before, the number of times he came on and scored goals off the bench.
Just influencing the game as well. The tempo just went up a notch when he came on last night. And that's not a knock on Kai Havertz, but Kai Havertz has that. He has that Ozil, Modric, Toni Kroos style where he's very languid. And I wouldn't even say luxury. I just think that his style and the way he plays the game, he likes to slow things down and take touches and intricate movements. And his movement actually off the ball is very, very good. But in that sort of game and in that sort of situation, we needed something that was a bit more energy wise. And I just think that we're in danger of trying so hard to force Kai into this position that we might end up losing Smith Rowe because he gets sick of not getting chances in that position in the meantime. Or Vieira, who can play that role as well.
And look at the season Jakub is having with Leverkusen, top of the Bundesliga, unbeaten.
Oh, he's having a lovely time, bless him.
He's the centre of it all.
But he is the past, and this is the present. So we go 1-0 up, and unlike you, I have to say right now, I was not confident that we would go and win 6-0 because I didn't think we were playing well even when we went in front. The one thing I think it did have was that we did take the spark out of the crowd for 5 to 10 minutes, but we then didn't capitalise it. We went into our shell. The passing got a bit sloppy. Everything got sloppy, and that
we always do, though, isn't it? We don't then go and hammer home the advantage and score more goals. We go, we're 1-0 up. What could possibly go wrong? Well, let's just kick the ball about a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And that sloppiness led to the second goal. And I think you've got an image of the second goal before it went in when Raya was looking to find Tomiyasu. This is, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see the screenshot now of Danny's got where Raya is easily sort of 15 yards outside of his penalty area. There's a little bit of pressure from Eliwahi, but nothing too much is on. Tomiyasu in the bottom left of the bottom right of the picture, facing Raya, it has to be said. And then the clipped pass out from Raya. I mean, it is an error. I think that where the pass goes, it is a poor delivery. But where do you stand on this? I mean, if this is you, where do you want that pass being played? Because if you look at Saliba's position in that image...
Yeah, you just said it. That's one of the two centre-backs.
Yeah, that's where I want that ball going. I don't want it clipped.
What would Ramsdale have done?
Well, he either screamed at somebody and smashed it upfield.
had a shot at goal.
Had a chat with the crowd for 20 minutes. But no, seriously.
Taunted the Lens fans.
Yeah, got his dick out or something. Yeah. Allegedly. No, I just don't personally. Okay, this is going to be a bit of a side rant here, so strap in, listeners. Maybe it's my side of my age, Danny, and I'm sure you can empathise with me here.
Well, I'm 53 on Tuesday. I know.
Well, there you go.
Low lighting.
I'm not saying 4-4-2. I'm not going full Ron manager here, but I'm just a little bit tired. First, it was fucking inverted fullbacks. Now it's you have to have a goalkeeper who can play with his feet. Forgive me, right? But I just want a goalkeeper who can keep the ball out the net. And if he's quite good at passing 5 or 10 yards, that's great. That's useful. But I don't particularly care if my goalkeeper can do step overs or a Rabona or a, pinged past 40 yards. I'm not saying it doesn't look good. I'm not saying it doesn't help us in the transition. But what I am saying is, what's the difference between him pinging it 5 yards to Saliba and Saliba whacking it down the line to Tomiyasu, or him clipping it to Tomiyasu and us losing possession? Because the issue I have with it is, I think you brought this up pre-pod, he clips that pass to Tomiyasu, who is probably facing the wrong way and gets robbed. But more to the point, Saliba's already out of position by that point because he's come over to cover the position that Tomiyasu's left to go to receive that pass. So there's two issues there. So I just want a bit more simplicity there. And I'm not... thank you, Paul. But I'm not, I genuinely don't think it is that hipster. I just think that sometimes we can overthink things here. And I think with this playing out from the back thing, I'm all for it when it works. When it doesn't work, ultimately that's cost us a goal last night. What about the next transition? I see a lot of people crying about handball. It's not handball. It hits his clavicle, which is the shoulder bone for the uneducated amongst us.
The top of his arm, between his arm and his neck.
And in Europe, that's not the same as handball in the Premier League, by the way. Right. So for those people that still insist that that's handball, it's not in Europe. So please do your research and learn the rules. Thank you very much. But what did you make of what happens from there? Because it's a brilliant finish from Thomason, to be fair. But the ball into him and Wahi's movement.
Stunning control. Stunning. If we'd have scored a goal like that would be up on the BBC as the possible goal of the season. I did a tweet about it. I'm going to go and find it after. Where did I put it? Wow. Now that was a superb goal. Great build-up, great layoff, magnificent finish. Well done. unlucky Tommy, but terrible ball by Raya. And
Yeah.
but then I was saying to you, I've just watched parts of the game again. See on the screen there where Raya puts the ball, because Tommy is going too fast. And so in the 2 seconds it takes for Raya to get the ball and put it over to where Tommy's going, Tommy's gone past it. And Tommy's drifted in a little bit, like we were saying, the centre-back thing, where he's not a natural wide player. And so this bloke in the bottom right-hand corner can see him doing that. And so he's nipped in close down to the bottom of the picture, and he's nipped in and got the ball, because he can see the flight of the ball. Raya has sent the ball to where he thinks. Remember in NASCAR, I mean, in Days of Thunder, it goes, always aim for where the car is. Don't aim to where the car's going. And so Raya has aimed the ball to where he thinks Tomiyasu's going, and Tomiyasu hasn't gone where he wants. But the player behind him has read it and gone, I'll have that. Thank you very much. Run down. Magnificent flick on by the other bloke. Magnificent goal. Just well done all round. But that bloke was playing third tier French football, like we were saying, beginning of the show, only 3 seasons ago. And now he scored in the Champions League. The stuff of dreams, Mr. Carpenter.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And he's a good little player, by the way, Thomason. Really good little player. Came from Strasbourg, and Adrian Thomason. He's a decent little player, I think it would be fair to say. His career, I'm just looking back. So he's at Strasbourg since 2019. Are you sure? I'm just questioning your facts here. Are you sure he was playing in the lower tiers? Because Strasbourg have been in Liga for 4 seasons now?
What's his name? Adrian Thomason.
And Adrian Thomason. I don't think.
I was listening to the commentary. It said it as he scored the goal. He was playing. He was on loan at VANNES. That's bloody 2013-14.
Yeah.
In the national, and Evian. He was there in the CFA 2. Their reserve team. It was Evian 2.
Yeah,
in seasons before that.
in 14 and Avian, Thonon and Evian in 14-15.
Well,
but anyway,
commentators like they just make it up as they go along. But they said only a few years ago, I think they said 3 years ago, 3 years ago, he was playing for Strasbourg in League One, banging in 7 goals in a season.
He was at Strasbourg for sure. And Martin Kieran did call Lens Lyon at one point, so
why not?
God bless you, Martin, if you're watching. But yeah, I, in all seriousness, it was a terrific finish, and the movement off the ball was brilliant. Machado's role in it to win the ball and drive down that left-hand side was
great control.
As well. Yeah, it was. And as I say, credit where due. It's not a case of it's not a case of not, you got to give praise where it's due. Basically, we were as much at fault, but it was a very good finish, and that was that. So going into half-time at 1-1, I mean, did you sort of feel like, because you said you thought we'd go on and win 6-0, 1-0.
But that's the third time you brought that up. Are you trying to make a point?
I am going to keep bringing it up, yeah. But were you still confident at half-time? Because I just wasn't. I just didn't feel like I felt like the urgency had gone. I suppose, actually, we should cover the Saka substitution because that happened before half-time. And that was where I feel it almost felt like, and when a player is so crucial to a team that when he's unavailable or he goes off, the whole team just doesn't quite believe in themselves anymore. It almost felt like that to me. It was almost like the rest of the team just kind of did that shoulder thing and just went, oh, fucking hell. Because he's so important to us now.
Yeah.
But I mean, what did you make of it? Because my standpoint on this is, and I know a lot of people have said he shouldn't have played last night. For me, that's waffle. He should have played last night, but he shouldn't have played against Bournemouth on Saturday, or at the very least, he should have come off the minute that penalty from Havertz hit the net. We were
76 minutes he played against Bournemouth.
Yeah, and Bournemouth were dog shit. Like, they just were. Like, we could have won that game with 14 Reiss Nelsons in the team. So that's my argument. It's not that Saka shouldn't have played last night, because if fit, exactly what John was saying in our WhatsApp group, if he's fit, then absolutely play him. But I don't think he should have been dragged through that Bournemouth game. We don't know the extent of the injury at the moment. Some people are saying that it was a knock. Some people are saying it's a muscular issue. Some people are saying it's a strain. Nobody really knows, let's be honest, until the club come out with the official line. But one thing's for sure, he's playing with injuries. I saw a very good tweet. I can't remember who tweeted it, but it's a picture of Saka when he's like 12 in his youth kit. And it's like, this is the last time Saka didn't play 90 minutes for Arsenal, which did make me chuckle. But what do you make of that? I mean, this is on Mikel, isn't it? Like, it just is. Whether the medical people are saying he's fit or not, you have to take the decision away from the player at times, don't you? As we said on the last pod.
Like I always said in the last one, that players with concussion going, I'm fine, I'll carry on. And you can't do what they want. You have to do what's best. And every game he is getting kicked and he is getting shoved and he is getting fouled and he is having 2 players on him. And it's going to take its toll. And every season it seems to be the toll starts to show a little bit earlier. I mean, his first season with us, you could do it all the time because he's young and he can take all the kicks and the knocks. And then this season, this is the 11th game of our season so far, and we've only just got to October. And he was hobbling about 5 or 6 minutes before he went off. And he wasn't running properly, and he was looking over to the bench. And you can see here, he was having a little chat with Arteta, and you could see that he wasn't able to come off. He was trying to run it off, and then he was laying down and holding his leg, as we can see in this picture here. He's probably just gets fed up of getting no protection from anybody. Playing in the Champions League, you wouldn't expect him to get any kind of protection because they have the referee was Italian from Serie A, and why would he protect our players? Unlike the Premier League, where I always say the case where they always used to protect Harry Kane, or they always go and protect the other English players. He doesn't get any protection. He's allowed to have people kick him all day long, and this is what's going to happen. And then, like we saw with Jack Wilshere, he's going to be out. He's going to get injured eventually, and then he's going to be out for a month. He's going to come back too soon, play too many games, get kicked too much. Next time he's out for 2 months, and then it's going to be the same problem. There's going to be recurring injuries, and then it's going to be his other leg, and it's going to be his knee, then it'll be his hip. Like someone said, you said it in the last pod. Someone said send him on holiday for a week. I don't know who you quoted as saying that.
Jeff said it in the last pod, yeah.
Oh, did he? Okay. Well, I mean, Jeff knows it. Jeff will take him off to an island somewhere and get him some loose ladies and off his tits on ease. It'll be wonderful. Just don't drug test him when he comes back.
No, I was going to say.
We all know what's going to happen, and it's going to keep happening until it's too late. I mean, look at Jack Wilshere. He retired from football at 31 because of he's one of the most skillful players that's played in the last decade for Arsenal, and his career ended at 31. You're looking at him Saka's 22. Look at Wilshere when he was 22. Saka.
Well, I keep bringing up Michael Owen, but there's countless other players. Look at the state of the career Paul Pogba's in now, and I know some of that is related to his potential failed drug test. I know, but look at the injuries he suffered. Yeah, but he broke through at a really young age. Played a lot of football at a really young age.
Yeah.
And my biggest concern really with Saka is. And again, I have to stress, I would have played him last night. And I think Rudy's put in the chat there, if you're fit, you play. And I'm fine with that. But I would not have played him at the weekend. The issue is that these young players, I respect the lad. And I love the fact that he wants to turn out. And he's clearly Arsenal is in his blood and he wants to play. And you get all these fuckwits on Sky Sports and whatever. Oh, Ronaldo played every game. Messi played every game. Don't see Real resting Jude Bellingham. I don't give a fuck about other clubs. I give a fuck about the players who play for our club. And the issue, the worry that I have is that Saka's injury last night was, ironically, nothing to do with what you've just said. He wasn't kicked last night. No. He got the injury as a result of pulling up because he felt something in the action of simply playing a back heel or trying something, as I quoted it. And the reason that is because his body is slowly breaking down because of all the other things you mentioned there, the kicks. Because it's exactly the same, and I can speak from experience with this as a runner, and I know it's not at the elite level, but when you are running and you get an injury, say, for example, in your left leg, and you wait for that injury to recover, while you're recovering, your right leg takes the majority of the pressure because you overcompensate. And then therefore, when you think you're fit again and you go off running again, it's often not the same leg you injure, it's often the other leg because that one's had to deal with the load again. And it's the same with Saka. If you continue to flog him into the floor, game in, game out, and I know it's not just him, other players play a lot of minutes as well, but he is always the player that is always left on. And it's either the player saying, no, I'm fine, I want to play on, which again, then it's the manager's responsibility to make the decision for him. Or it is the manager's decision and he chooses to leave him on. And that also opens up another case because then that says, so the reason he's leaving him on is because he knows how important he is to this team. Well, then teams are going to look at it and go, Odegaard's good. Yeah, Saliba's good at the back. They've got good goalkeepers. Jesus is all right. But if you stop Saka, you stop Arsenal. And that's the concern. Other teams are going to start looking at this and going, yeah, okay.
Especially when there's no Martinelli, because that is our other outlet.
He's a bigger loss than I think a lot of people have been mentioning, because
Trossard is great, but Trossard is great because he can play anywhere.
But he's a false nine, isn't he? He's not a wide player.
Yeah, but it's just his adaptability to play anywhere is a bit of a hindrance, because sometimes you're going to play him in places that he may not be playing at his best.
Exactly.
And imagine Trossard playing in the Havertz role last night.
Well, yeah, there you go.
That'd been half decent.
And as Phil's just put in the chat there, if he plays against Man City, because the suggestion is, I think Rudy's put there, it was a slight hamstring. I mean, even reading the words slight and hamstring, like, look up Dom on Twitter. He's still around. Ask Dom what a slight hamstring injury is. Like, it doesn't matter how slight a hamstring injury. If you've got any idea how fragile a hamstring is, it's a very, very long muscle. And trust me, from someone who's blown theirs a few times, it's very painful. You don't need to have, if there's any doubt in a player's ability to sprint, because in the back of their mind, they're going, oh, Hammy was a bit tight last night. It affects you. It affects your gait. It affects your running style. It affects your ability to burst. Like, it's that fast twitch fibers. You can't have a slight hamstring injury. You've either damaged your hamstring or you haven't. And I don't want to see him, wheeled out on Sunday with 4 tons of bandage around his hand. I just don't want that. If he's fit, fine, play him. But I don't know. The word slight worries me. Anyway, let's move on from Saka Gate. So second half. So I asked you before if you were confident that we would go on to win the game. I'm assuming that you were at this point, but we didn't start second half, did we? We just didn't start. At no point did I feel like we found our rhythm, aside from that early Trossard chance.
Was a little bit concerning, because you're watching it, and I was watching it back again a little bit today, skipping forward and backwards through it all. And I was thinking, well, there doesn't seem to be any direction. Normally, it's give it to Saka or give it to Martinelli, and then one of those two will either pass it for you to have a shot, or throw it over the other end to the other one, and then they'll do it, and then it'll be that. It would just be terrorising them down both wings. We had nothing. As much as Vieira has improved this season, he still isn't. I mean, he showed there that he isn't a right winger, because like Saka, he's played on the right, he's left-footed, but he can't do anything near like what Saka was doing. He is a central midfielder in the left 8 position, or the right 8, whichever one of those two is available. There was just seemed to be nothing there, and Jesus was struggling, coming a bit deeper to try and get the ball, which isn't helpful, because then where's Odegaard going to go? And yet again, he took Odegaard off after what time was it? It was the subs were on the 70th minute, just after they scored, and I thought, well, Ben White made a difference when he came on. Smith Rowe made a difference when he came on. Nelson, well, apart from the fact he was unable to keep running the ball down inside the line. Is it the touch line? I'm never sure what that line is called.
Yeah, touch line. Yeah,
the touch line. And looking at that, I remember thinking at the time, well, why didn't you bring those on earlier? Why did you wait until 20 minutes before the end of the game before you make those substitutions? And then near the end, the desperation, bringing on Eddie for Odegaard, you just think, well, that's just you.
Yeah,
that was everything.
Yeah, throw stuff at and hope for the best. Did you think the Vieira for Saka substitution was a bit odd? Because I did. I thought that was a bit of a strange. Vieira's never really looked good as a wide player for me. He's always looked good centrally. I don't really understand this obsession with playing
we had on the bench. We had
Ramsdale, Nelson's the obvious one, isn't he?
That's kind of Nelson's position, although I think he is better on the left-hand side than he is on the right-hand side. But I think they can all do it. But Smith Rowe, when Smith Rowe first started playing, he used to play on that right-hand side.
Yeah.
And then back in the Europa League days under Emery.
You could even have made the argument to bring on Vieira centrally, if you're going to bring on Vieira, or Jorginho even, and stiffen up that central area and move to almost 4-3-3. Yeah.
And trying to stick it for the draw. But it was like this picture here where they're all walking back after they've scored one of their goals. None of them there look like they're going, oh, come on, let's get this going. Reiss there is having a chat with Jesus, Saliba's looking back at those two talking. Havertz head down. Trossard looks lost. Gabriel's looking away. Who's that? Is that Saka at the back with his head down? And Tomiyasu's just standing there with his mouth open, catching flyers. That isn't a group of players. I don't know if this was after the first or no, because, well, you can tell because Saka's on the pitch. So this would be after the first goal.
Yeah.
And so that doesn't look like a group of players. If that had been Tony Adams in there, he'd have been leaning forward, screaming, pumping both of his fists, screaming, "We go," or whatever is the hashtag on Twitter at the moment. None of them there look like they're up for the game, do they? Up for the fight.
I feel like Reiss was probably the one who was showing that fight, and I think he was probably the standout player on the night again, which is worrying. What about the second goal then, which proved to be the winner? Because I was banging my little drum all summer about Eluahi because he's 20 years old. He was available from Montpellier for a decent price. I think Lens paid. I don't think they paid much for him in the end. I think it was about 20, 25 because they're not a rich club. But they got him in
30 million euros.
Yeah, so about what, 24, 25 million quid?
28. Yeah.
So not much. Certainly what we could have afforded.
Enough money to risk on a player for the Premier League.
Yeah, 100%. And I just thought he would have suited our style. And I think last night he proved that, and he proved that he can play at the highest level. And I've seen a lot of people criticise both Saliba and Gabriel. And yeah, I'm not defending them. I did think that it wasn't the best bit of defending. But in this particular circumstance, I want to give more credit to the striker because the movement was exceptional. His ability to just stop and hold his position on the edge of the box for that cross, and then the finish was emphatic. I just thought that was exceptional. And, people might not like me saying that. Tough, it's facts. But which side of it did you stand on? Did you look at it as a defensive error, or were you actually like, no, fair play, that's a damn good finish?
Well, I spent a little bit of time with this one. Got that picture there, 68th minute before they score the goal, and then I've added a few lines. I went full Richard Keys, and you can see, look, that is an organised team, all in the right positions, playing a flat back four, all very compact as they are, which gives plenty of room down each of the wings for the players to run riot. We're going to come to that in a second. So we're playing a 4-1-4-1, very nice and tidy. And there you go. You look at that. That is 68 minutes and 33 seconds. Look at this. Zinchenko is doing his usual, coming from the DM role, going, "Oh, look, there's someone coming down down the left-hand side, or the attacking player's right-hand side." That's 33 seconds. Look where he is 3 seconds later. The bloke has got past him. Zinchenko is running after him. And at no point does Zinchenko grab him, barge him, shove him, block him, let alone tackle him. The bloke runs all the way down there, crosses it, and then that bloke goes and scores a goal. And you asked me to find that picture of the bloke celebrating and then we can see Tomiyasu hands down by his side. Not my fault. Saliba looking at the situation. Gabriel late to the party. Reiss has got his arms down by his sides. Havertz is there going, "Oh God, he doesn't look happy." And Zinchenko's going, "Well, I'm a central defensive midfielder, aren't I? In this situation, you can't keep having players cutting in and coming in deep to join Reiss in the centre of midfield as a defensive midfielder, and then have those massive big gaps at the back because they keep doing it, and that is our weak spot. And now, if we'd had Tierney playing there, where would Tierney be here? Tierney? Have I said that right?
Tierney.
Yeah.
Tierney.
Yeah. Where would KT be there? KT wouldn't be fucking there, would he?
He'd be level with Gabriel, wouldn't he? Let's be honest.
Yeah. And then the bloke would go, "Right, I have now got a quarter length of the pitch," and then Tierney would be looking at it and going, "Right, whichever way you go, I've got you covered." But straight away, this bloke knows all I have to do is make a run down there, and then he doesn't know whether I'm going to cut in or whether I'm going to go straight down there. And then look, completely got past him. 3 seconds it took to pull the left side of our defence apart, and then Arteta had that.
And anyone that does their due diligence, which I'm sure, to be fair, we would have done, knows that Frankowski's greatest weapon, who puts the cross in there, is his ability to cross. He's a very good deliverer of both dead balls and on the run crosses. So, but yeah, I did think Zinchenko was a weak link. And again, just referring back to my previous rant of before, inverted fucking fullbacks. I'm sick of it.
Don't like it.
Just play left backs and right backs. And to be fair, let's make it completely honest here. Kieran Tierney's not the best defender, but he is a defender. I don't think
you're going to get a tackle in you.
Yeah, and I don't think Zinchenko is a defender. I think, and again, this is not throwing him under the bus. He's a very good footballer, lovely bloke, and all that goes with it. But he's an attacking fullback who is being asked to deploy himself in midfield, and it's risk versus reward, isn't it? Sometimes it's paid off for us where we've had an overload of players in midfield, but
that was last season when Xhaka isn't a defensive midfielder and Partey was out injured, so you can understand. But now we've got a world-class player on the verge, as in Reiss. Reiss is probably going, what are you doing here? I don't need you here. I don't need another defensive midfielder here. I've been one of our best, most consistent players all season. You fuck off to left back. We don't need you in the defensive midfield role, the inverted winger role, inverted fullback role. I don't want it, and we don't need it now because we've got Reiss there. Or do you think?
I'd like to see the position of the defence as the cross actually comes in, because I wouldn't mind betting that one of, if not both of, Saliba and Gabriel, certainly one of them anyway, moves out to cover the space vacated from the player running in, because that's how it appeared to me on first glance. I'd have to look back at it again, but I just while you're looking for that, I did just want to shout out a thing in the chat that I saw from Glenn AFC New York, when he just said Arteta got Arsenal to this level, and he gets all of his dues, but now we're at this stage, the manager has to show that he can handle it. He's having trouble with rotation, man management, and strategy, and I don't think he's far wrong there. I think Glenn's got a point there, and again, in this world of certain individuals going on certain streams at certain times of night under various certain substances, potentially, allegedly, if you know, they might own Datsuns. They tend to, it's mob culture, isn't it? It's scream and holler and shout and abuse and everything that goes with it. That's not what we're here to do. I'm just simply here to ask the questions, and I do think Glenn has a point there. Mikel has not managed at this level before in terms of Champions League level. There you go. So there's that cross. So, okay, I would actually argue that both centre backs could be better positioned there. So Gabriel, Saliba's body position is not good there. That said, Gabriel is certainly further over to the left-hand side than he would have been had Zinchenko not been beaten by that cross. So I do
look where Zinchenko is, but to try and shut the man down who's just done the cross.
He's 10 yards away, isn't he?
Nowhere near him.
10 yards away. But yeah, I think Glenn makes a good point there, and I do think this is where Arteta's management comes in. Just as a whole, though, the one thing that helped us last night, Sevilla and PSV drew 2-2.
I didn't even look at that. I was so annoyed. I didn't even think of that. That's a great result for us.
It is, and that was a bonkers game. I think there was 3 goals in the last 10 minutes, and there was a 95th minute equaliser. But that does us a huge favour, because now we are, Lons are actually top of the group now, but we're still in touch. Sevilla up next. I don't think Sevilla are very good at the moment, and I actually think that we potentially can go to Spain and get the result over there. They remind me a bit of when we went to Valencia with Aubameyang and Lacazette that time, and we blew them off the pitch. I sort of feel like we can win there. So I don't think this is crisis time. I still think we've got more than enough to get through this group, and I still think we'll win the group. I'd love to see Lons come out of it in second, for the record.
I said that in the pod the other night, but you did say that our toughest away games, our toughest game is going to be the away games, and it seems so far that you're right.
But I think Sevilla of the 3, I think actually PSV might be tougher than Sevilla is. I fancy us to
7 wins out of 7 in the Eredivisie. They've conceded 2 goals.
Yeah, there you go. And I think they'll learn their lessons from what they did at the Emirates. But where are you ahead of this? I mean, again, I know it's not about other teams, but when you look at what Man United are going through at the moment, which, by the way, is fucking hilarious. But when you see where they're going, I mean, we're not in that territory. We've lost a game.
1 loss out of 11.
Yeah, we didn't perform, but we didn't deserve anything from the game. We got nothing. So it is a case of just move on now, isn't it? We've got Man City on Sunday. We've just got to get home and get it out of our system, haven't we, really?
Just reading here from the injury thing website, October the 3rd, quote for Saka: he tried to backheel the ball and felt something. It was something muscular, and he was uncomfortable to carry on, so we had to take him off. So we don't know what, and we don't know anything more than that. God,
yeah,
that's terrible.
It's that line of he felt something that worries me.
And Martinelli doesn't look like he's coming back anytime soon.
I've got a suspicion he might be back on Sunday night. I feel like there's a bit of mind games going there, because his was only a slight strain and he's been missing for 3 weeks. So I wouldn't be surprised if he turned up on Sunday, but lack of match practice, etc. So, but yeah, no, I say, I don't know about you, but I'm not particularly, I wouldn't say I'm not bothered, because that any loss is it sucks. Nobody wants to lose any games.
But sometimes losing is good. brings you back down to earth.
Well, I think Reiss said that, didn't he? After the game, Reiss said that.
I don't know.
I think he's like, I think the quote was, "This will be good for us. We need to learn and move forward." I think he's a good talker, is Declan, isn't he? But I think he said something along those lines. So
in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter because it's a 6-game league. And it's not like it's in the Premier League where if you lose a game that could cost us the title, it's a cup game where it's a knockout game where if you lose, then you're out of the cup. That's only one.
Yeah.
We've still won one. We've still got another 4 games to go. Win our 2 home games, draw the 2 away games. We're top of the group and we're through to the next round.
Yeah. No, I completely agree.
It's not a problem at all. It's just little things that we said on the podcast on Monday. This might happen, and some of these things did happen.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, I don't.
Well, I mean, again, like I say, and I had a few people. I couldn't resist a little nibble to say, call it a Farmers League now. But no, I did, genuinely, in fairness, I did expect us to beat Lens. I did. I thought we'd have enough to beat them, but I thought it would be tight. And at the end of the game, I wasn't surprised that they came away with the points. But it is what it is. Anything else you wanted to cover before we wrap this up? Because we did just want to do a sort of a quick overview, but was there anything else that caught your eye?
No, I don't think so. Sean's bought me some biscuits from the co-op, so I'm going to get her to make me a Tassimo hot chocolate, and we're going to watch a film. I got her to watch Lock, Stock the other night. Did you like it?
Yeah.
It's a classic. You got to get her to watch Snatch next. Surely that's next in line.
You've seen Snatch, haven't you?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Another. I did watch The Creator at the cinema the other day. That's not bad. And I watched Saw X as well, which was quite good.
What's X?
So, Saw X, Saw 10, if you will.
Fuck that. That's the kind of shit she watches.
Because you're a big wuss.
I don't like.
Anyway,
hey Timmy.
No, you don't.
You're
a big fanny. Anyway, this feels like as good a time as any to get the fuck out of here, because I'm hopefully going to go and watch PSG annihilate Newcastle in the questionable owners derby. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it's been a little bit therapeutic for you all in the chat. So I know Glenn said he needed a bit of positivity. I didn't know we brought any positivity, Glenn, but if we did, thank you. Appreciate it. But yeah, all the regulars, Mr. Waffles is there, Phil's there, Caden who popped in earlier on, Loki's there as well, Rudy. Thank you to you all for tuning in.
Mr. Waffles is actually coming to the game. He's coming from northwest US of A, not Portland. He's coming to his first ever game at the Emirates on Sunday. Big G sorted him out a ticket, and so he's going to be at that. So, Mr. Waffles, WhatsApp me and let me know if you want me to see if Femi or Karl can meet you before the game and give you a little bit of the VIP treatment, because it might be a bit daunting. But what do you want, Timmy? Yeah, so let me know.
And also take a couple of pics for us, Mr. Waffles, and we'll tweet them from the old pod account. So if you, we're not suggesting you watch the whole game through your phone, because only nonsense do that. But yeah, a couple of pictures pre or post game. Feel free. We'll stick them on the pod if you want to show your face, because some people don't want to do that. But
he's done pods with us, hasn't he?
Oh, of course,
yeah, and he said he might get on the train and pop down to see me. So if you do manage to make it down, Sean might be back in time. Might take you out in the GFP.
Don't do that, Mr. Waffles.
Take you out of something to eat.
He's got basements and he's got chains and just don't do it. Save yourself, all right? Jace went to visit him once, and have you seen Jace on this podcast ever since?
Jace has never been here.
Yes, he has, hasn't he?
No, none of you fuckers can be bothered. John's half hour away.
Oh, who is it?
Glenn's coming over as well. Glenn's going to come over in January.
Been. Huh? Who else came to visit you? OG's been. Who else came? Somebody else came to visit you. Mike, of course it was.
Before he disowned us.
Before he became half a man.
Now he's sitting at the top tail of the oi for loy of the podcasting world, and we're dead to him.
Yeah. Monetize, man. Gotta get those G's. Anyway, let's get out of here. Thank you, Danny, for chatting to me. I appreciate
thanks
it.
Thanks for being hosting yet again.
Oh, that's all right. 2 in a week,
Yeah.
whatever next.
I know.
Anyway, I'm off to plough some fields. And thank you all
Nice.
for tuning in. If you are watching in delay, please don't forget to subscribe. Tell your friends, even if you've only got one friend. That's one more than we would have got otherwise. Hit the bell, subscribe, and all that good stuff. We don't get anything out of this. We keep saying this, but we don't get any money out of this. It's all just for the enjoyment and the love of the club we all follow, even when we hate them. We got Man City on Sunday. Big game. Let's hope we can shove it up them. They're playing tonight against Leipzig. So let's wish Leipzig all the very best.
Good luck.
But from me and from you, Danny,
Yep.
thank you very much for watching. Fuck Ellis. And we'll speak to you very soon. Good night.
As soon as I scored that goal, I was fucking livid. Get down, dog. Splendid business.
He nearly caught the bloody thing. What are you talking about?
So I've just eaten a full quiche. Well, you don't often see them at it. So when you see them in the supermarket, they need to be swagged, microwaved immediately and get the brown sauce on and bosh, Bob's your uncle. Never